Let's take a look at the safflower plant, growing from seed to flower to seed again. I'd like to tell you why and how you may want to grow it in your garden. Its botanical name is Carthamus tinctorius. It is native to the Mediterranean region. We have evidence of this plant being first cultivated in Mesopotamia as early as 2500 BCE. It's a good source of yellow and red dye, both for fabric and for food, as well as being used for teas, and its seeds are rich in oils. The plant grows 2 to 3 feet tall, having yellow and orange flower heads and foliage that is mildly prickly and thistle-like. There are several different varieties. Flower color, height, even the amount of prickle can vary. I'm growing the Lorenzo Tusoni heirloom from Seed Savers Exchange. The seeds are good germinators. They germinate in 7 to 14 days, sown at 1/2 of an inch, indoors or outdoors. They like cool soil for germinating, as low as 40 degrees. If started indoors, they can be transplanted outside before last frost. In their rosette stage, they are freeze hardy down to 20 degrees. I've been starting mine in late February. I think I'm going to shift to the first week of March, though, so that they spend less time in containers indoors. Here you can see their little sprouts. This is about 2 weeks after sowing. They're growing along nicely with nice thick stems and strong leaves. You can see here that I've started 2 seeds per cell. You don't have to do that, you can just do 1. But you'll also see that it mainly makes a taproot at first. It just goes straight down without a lot of wide branching roots. So I thought that the 2 per cell would be fine. They wouldn't entangle with each other too badly. And you do need to pot them up relatively quickly. So they wouldn't stay in this cell together for very long. See here you can see the seedling and its roots. The seedling itself is not very big, but the taproot is pretty long. So I'm going to be potting these up into cups relatively quickly after they germinate. These plants grow a deep taproot that helps with their drought tolerance. They also pull nutrients from deep in the soil, and they don't really compete with other plants too much. Safflower can be used to break up compacted soil as well, due to the strong, deep taproot. It is a winter, early spring growing annual that enjoys later hot, dry summer conditions as it matures. Full sun is best, though it will tolerate some part shade. It's also very heat tolerant. It actually really enjoys a nice hot environment. It will grow in poor soil and is very drought tolerant. This is about a month and a half or so after sowing. You can see they've come to this is what's called the rosette stage, where they put on a lot of little leaves close to the ground level, and then they work on building their roots. You can see they're starting to get a little bit of a serrated edge. That's the precursor to their pokey, spiny, spiky things. All right, it is just exactly the right time to pull these things out of their cups. I'm gonna tease out the ends just a tiny bit and then drop it in the hole. And here, a week or 2 later, they haven't grown much taller, but they have put on a lot of roots, and we are ready to transplant them into the ground. Here I've got them about 12 to 18 inches apart, but I've seen that you can put them as close together as 4 inches. When I grow these again next year, I'm going to put them closer together, closer to that 4-inch mark, maybe even closer than that, and see how they do. We planted these together earlier this spring. We've got safflower and painted daisies and chamomile, and it is a lovely combination. Once temperature and day length increase, the stem will begin to grow and branch. Buds will form on the end of the branches. That's the safflower. and from them emerge a composite flowered head. Depending on the variety and conditions, you'll get 3 to 50 flowers per plant in orangey colors, some more yellow or more red. Flowering is influenced by day length, and the earlier that you get the plants in the ground, the larger the plant will be and more flowers you will have. Safflower is one of our oldest crops. In Mesopotamia, it was first cultivated as early as 2500 BCE. We also have many examples of its use for dyes from ancient Egypt and ancient Greece. Safflower, making seeds, looking good. From time of flowering to seed maturity is about 30 days. When most of the leaves on the plant have turned brown, it's time to harvest. Seeds should be left to dry, and the temperature should not exceed 100 degrees Fahrenheit to ensure seed viability and quality. Once dry, the plant is considerably more prickly than it was when it was green. So take care when harvesting the seeds by hand. I imagine there may be a better way to harvest the seeds, but this was my first time trying to get them out of their pods, so bear with me as I try to figure it out. And here are the seeds, ready for use. These can be eaten raw or toasted. You can use them to make oil. Or what I'm going to do here is save them to plant next year.